bridge can be a good movement to help counteract all the sitting that we do in our daily lives. It opens up the shoulders, hip flexors, and strengthens the back, arms, as well as the legs. If you've ever tried to practice the bridge, you know it's not easy, and in fact can be quite difficult if you have stiff shoulders or if you've had a shoulder injury like myself. Today I'm going to take you through everything you need to help you improve your spinal flexibility working towards the full bridge. And by the way, don't feel that you need to be able to do the full bridge. It actually isn't necessary if it's not going to be something that's important to you. Just focus on going through the first few movements and slowly, gradually work your way up to a version of the bridge that's comfortable for you. But first off, let's take a look at a stretch to get us prepped for working on the bridge where we're focused on thoracic extension. Okay, so you'll notice that Rose here is using a chair. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to extend your arms and sit back just like she's doing, where you're pushing your chest forward and down, keeping your shoulders in place just like Rose is doing. That way you can emphasize this thoracic extension. Our next move, thoracic rotation. All right, so next up we have Verity, and she's demonstrating thoracic rotation drill. And this is where she's gonna have her elbow bent up behind her. Notice she's rolling her chest up and she's rotating. Really focus on the chest rather than leading with your arms straight. Now, some people have shoulder flexibility issues, so if you leave your arms straight when you're doing this, your shoulders are going to restrict you versus rotating at the spine, which is what you want. So if you have problems, go ahead and keep that elbow bent. Now here's another variation where if you're quite flexible, you can actually start in a more rotated position, so that way you can work into your spine more. Next up is the kneeling backbend. All right, now you can see that we'll have the kneeling backbend, and you can use this as a pre-backbend sequence to kind of warm up for more rigorous backbending. I want you to notice here how Rose is really pushing her hips forward as she leans back and lets her chest rise up while she's looking backwards. Now the emphasis here is on pushing your pelvis forward like she's doing so that you're working on full spinal extension. Next up, we're going to take a look at a lunge sequence. I want you to get into a lunge position that's comfortable for you, and then you'll rotate to the side, making sure to keep your chest up just like here in the video. So for a bit more stability, you want to make sure that your feet are a little wider apart. Make sure that you do both sides, by the way. And now we have the camel stretch. Now this is similar to that kneeling backbend where you push your hips forward, but this time Rose is reaching back towards her heels in order to shift her hips forward and lifting the chest up. Now I suggest that you first use a chair, and then once you're comfortable with that, then you can focus on reaching back and placing your hands on your heels like Rose is doing here. You know, really bring the focus to driving your chest upwards rather than trying to push your hips forward. Next up is the quadricep stretch. Now you'll start the quad stretch with your hands on the floor behind you at first and slowly work on being able to work to your elbows. If that's too much for you, don't worry. You just keep your hands on the floor and work from there. But over time, then you can work on dropping your back all the way down to the floor as Verity is showing here. Now it's time to work on the shoulder bridge. All right, so for the shoulder bridge, start off with your feet shoulder width apart and drive your hips up into the air. Now, feel free to walk your feet backwards towards your shoulders in order to get deeper into the position. And when lifting up, you'll really want to relax your glutes and use your quads to lift you up, since that'll make sure that you're pressing up into a good arch and not pushing your lower back into extension. Next up, we can move into the head bridge. Now, I want you to notice here that Verity is starting with her hands close to her ears. She's pushing away from the ground and simply bringing her head underneath her so that she places her head on the ground. Really, that's it. Go easy with this one, okay? If there's a lot of pressure on your head and it's too uncomfortable, then continue working with the shoulder bridge position. And you can already see that going past this point isn't going to be easy for a lot of people, and that's just fine. And when working on the bridge, the goal here isn't contortion or thinking you have to get into a crazy position like this. Instead, The goal is just to simply improve your spinal flexibility and control so that you're comfortable moving in the positions needed for the activities you love. Now we have the low bridge. Basically, the low bridge is simply where you go from that head bridge and you're just pushing a little harder in order to get your head to float off the ground. Really, that's it, okay? You just want to try and get your head a little bit off of the ground. Hold that position for a little bit like Verity's doing here. Just make sure that you're comfortable with that and make sure that you're safe. Finally, we have the full bridge. Now, there's two variations you can do here in the very beginning. Feel free to go up on your toes. What is going to happen here is going to allow you to go deeper into the position. Once you're able to comfortably do that, then you can start working on having your feet flat on the ground. Remember, just keep pushing into the floor. Hold this for 5 to 10 breaths. Now, even though the full bridge is a cool movement, it might not be something for you. That's perfectly fine. Again, I just want you to improve your spinal and shoulder flexibility in a way that's going to be constructive for you, so that you're going to be able to have that necessary range of motion and flexibility to further enjoy the things that you enjoy doing in your life.